I've never had an interest in golf until I actually went to the Speed Golf Champs, and I came away that day, on a real high, like what you get with a runner's high. You come away from an event and you just get that buzz, and I thought, this is something I've never ever thought of playing, but I actually really think it would be fun.
What's up, golfers everywhere and runners if you're tuning in? Thank you. This is Scott Dawley, your co-host, the Pace of Change Golf Podcast. We're back with episode 20. You just heard our special guest this week, non-golfer, cardiac education specialist by day, and elite ultra running champion by day and night, because she runs so far, Kirstin Bull. Kirstin recently became the new Australian record holder in the 100-kilometer distance. She broke the previous record by running the equivalent of a 7:22 pace per mile for 62 miles. That's like running the better part of Long Island or the LA coastline from Santa Monica to Newport Beach or San Francisco to San Jose. It's like city to city she's running at that pace. It's amazing. And all she had to do to beat the record was run about 1 second faster per mile than her predecessor. It's just another case where it's the little things done repeatedly over long distances or periods of time that separate the champion from the pack, or really when you think about it, that's what's separating you from your next personal best results, just the little things. Now, there's no doubt elite ultra running champion Kirstin Bull is an inspiration to many in her sport and beyond it, and I think she'll be inspirational to you as well. But I know what you may be thinking. This is a golf-themed podcast. Aren't we supposed to be talking about golf here? Where in the world does golf fit into this runner story? Well, here's the truth, golfers out there. Kirstin is a non-golfer, and it would probably stay that way permanently if it weren't for a unique style of play she recently discovered that actually complements the runner's lifestyle. It's called speed golf. You may have heard of it, but let's find out more about it. Are you ready? We do it fast, we make it fun, so turn it up and enjoy episode 20 with the elite ultra running champion, Australian Kirstin Bull. Hey everybody, this episode of the Pace of Change podcast is sponsored in part by Links Run. Now, can you guess what Runner's World rated as the number one surface to run on? Yeah, it's no surprise, of course. It's golf course fairways. The same fairways that are off limits to runners, unfortunately. There were a record 18,000 timed foot races in the United States last year. Almost every one of them were on roads. Man, that hurts my back and my knees just to say that. I wonder how many ran past golf courses and wished they could be on the other side of that fence. Well, that's what Links Run is doing. They're making that a reality. Links Run is an innovative racing concept whose founders are passionate about running, but they're also passionate about growing the game of golf in the 21st century. So their vision is to build a bridge between two of the largest athletic communities in the world, golfers and runners, by hosting foot races on golf courses. Check out linksrun.com for more information, and if you'd like to see Links Run come to your city, fill out their request form on their website, or just sign up for their newsletter. This to me is like a special bonus episode to be able to have you on. You're just fresh off of a win a couple of days ago. Do the listeners and do me a favor and just introduce yourself and give us, kind of the short bio on who Kirstin Bull is.
Sure. So I began running probably in high school, as many other kids did, just for some fun, and probably in my teenage years I just entered the occasional fun run, and it wasn't until my sort of early 20s I decided that I was a little bit bored with just training by myself, so I found a running group in the city of Melbourne, which is about a 40-minute drive from my house, and that's where everything sort of changed. I met my coach, who at the time was had a recreational running group, as well as he coached some top athletes as well. So I kind of went into to this social scene as a recreational runner, and I think it was just through pure enjoyment and passion for the sport that I just developed as a strong runner. And I ran my first marathon, and it was probably then that I realised that, the further I ran, the better I felt. And
wow,
yeah, now I'm running the 100K distance, which is become my specialty. That's, I did my first 100K race last year, and I then went to the World Championship in the Netherlands, and I broke the Australian record there that had been held for 20 years. So,
wow, that is amazing. So really running for you has been something that you did at an early age, but it's just been a gradual progression of improvement, getting better, or were you just always winning the races that you entered?
No, definitely not. And that's probably why I use the word recreational runner. It was just, I just would turn up to runs and do them as fun and, finish middle of the pack and never winning races when I was younger. And I think that's a bit of a unusual thing, because normally if someone's going to be a good runner, they'll be fairly good early on in life. However, in distance running, they do say that you actually, peak as you get older, because you need all those years of running to build up that strength and endurance in your legs. So,
oh my goodness! So, how recent have you transitioned from specializing in the marathon to now specializing in the ultras?
Probably over the last 2 years. I sort of moved into. I competed for Australia a couple of years ago in the ultra trail running championship that was held in Wales in the UK. And from there I realised that, the longer I ran, the better I felt. And I love trail running, but I also love road running. And my coach and I sort of sat down last year and thought, how about we step it up and give the 100K a go, and the 100K is a road race. And, that was a big step, and it really paid off. It was something that sometimes you got to throw yourself into something and then you realise that you're actually going to excel at it.
What is the biggest difference between running a 100K trail race and a 100K road race?
So the longest trail race I've ever run was 70K, I think, or 75 maybe. And the general difference is that you're running up and down through mountains, through bushland. You might even spend some time walking because it's, big climbs and you're trying to protect your legs. Whereas a road race, it's just very continuous, same pace, same speed, and it's all about just maintaining that. And I think that's where I found my niche, because I can just get onto a pace and then just clock out continuous Ks at exactly the same pace without having to change anything.
So I'm interested, because I'm also have I fell in love with running at the age of 34, 35. So I really, before then, running was not something that I was attracted to at all. Like, I'd probably never run more than, if I ran 2 miles at a time, I would think that I've run so far. But then something clicked a few years ago, and I just fell in love with it. And so now I'm super passionate about it. And obviously with speed golf, it's like the perfect combination of my lifelong passion and my newfound passion. But I am very into trail running, less so road running, because it does affect my knees and my joints and stuff like that.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on, do you think that people are just built differently, and so some people can handle the road and some people can't? Or is there a specific way that you train for road running that would minimize the damage or the injury that could be caused by running on a hard surface like that?
It's a really good question. I've got 2 thoughts about it. I definitely think that some people can just handle that impact on the roads better than others.
Yeah.
But I also think that you need to build up to it gradually, and you need to become stronger. And through the build up, you will eventually be able to handle running on the roads. Mm-hmm. And I say that because I went to Kenya last year and trained for 5 weeks on rocky dirt roads the surface was very uneven and hard to run on, but the impact itself was a lot softer because you're not running on the concrete or the bitumen. And it meant that I was actually able to run twice a day and was not pulling up sore. Whereas if I run here at home in Melbourne now, twice a day, I can pull up sore because you're running on the roads a lot. You have to actually go looking for soft surfaces here in the, city.
Do you have a coach, or do you have like a team? In other words, do you go beyond the physical training aspect into getting advice, like with a nutritionist, or kind of any other part of being, a running athlete?
Yeah, so I've got a team now, and that's sort of been built up maybe over the last 2 years through, one through injury. So, every runner experiences in some part of their running career injury.
Sure.
So you end up getting yourself, a really good podiatrist, a really good physio, and you find yourself a good massage therapist.
Yeah.
And once you get those things right, I think then it's all uphill. And, once I got my feet sorted and my strength sorted, those guys really looked after me and got me back out running. And then as well as my running coach, Tim Crosby, I went off and just for my own sort of reasons to go find a strength coach in the gym. And now I train in the gym once a week with my strength coach, Lee, and I do my own sessions in the gym as well. And I think that's really helped with my running. To be able to be really strong, especially late in a race, is very important. So I think, as a runner, yes, you have to go out and run, but you also need to have a team around you to be able to support you, and you need to be able to do a bit of cross training as well.
So training, when you're doing now, you've stepped into ultras. So the next thing that comes up to my mind is like your nutrition and how you fuel yourself, not only in your training, but and also during the competition. So do you consider yourself following like a fat adapted diet?
No, it's interesting you ask that because there's obviously a lot of new sort of push for ultra runners to follow the fat adapted diet, as you call it.
The ketogenic diet, those kind of things. Yeah.
Yeah, I work as a cardiac nurse, and I'm an educator, and just the thought of having so much fat in a diet, I just worry about your coronary arteries and.
Thank you. It's like, thank you for stating the obvious.
Exactly, and I just can't imagine. I can't imagine eating that much fat. I just think it's really bad for you. And there is part of me that's tempted one day to maybe try it, but you really have to be very conscious of it. I just think, eating a balanced diet is, the best way that you can go. And I don't follow a particular. Because people ask me, they say, "Do you follow a diet?"
Of course,
I said, no,
exactly. Yeah.
I eat what I feel like eating, and generally if I'm training high volume, Ks per week, I will just be eating the most ridiculous amounts of food, but it's generally you're craving carbohydrate, fruit and vegetables, just everything that's clean and fresh and just what makes you feel good.
Yeah, I think one of the commonalities I've noticed between all elite athletes, whether they're amateurs or pros, is that no matter what diet they follow, they've really committed to like a clean, like you say, a clean diet, a diet based on like real raw food, as opposed to the processed foods and all that kind of stuff. I don't know. I just watched a really great episode on Netflix of this new series called Cooked, and one of them, so they break down like basically the four elements: air, water, fire, and earth. And there's an episode about each one, but the one about air is about bread. And I have learned how to have such a negative attitude towards bread because of everything that I read. But this episode was so amazing because it basically broke down the history of bread and what happens when you heat it up and all of the different chemical compounds that are created. And oh my gosh, it's just so fascinating. So I don't know, I'm passionate about bread, but but the point is, I think that's really great that you are not necessarily committed to a particular diet or diet lifestyle, but just you eat clean, you eat healthy, you eat what you feel like eating in a healthy way. Yeah. And then what does your training look like on a weekly basis? I know it's seasonal, but I mean, are you typically out 5 days, 6 days, 7 days, and then what's recovery like?
So a typical training week, so leading into this marathon, for example, I will up the Ks progressively. I think I ended up hitting 170K for the week in my peak week of the 12-week campaign. So what that looks like generally is maybe running 6 or 7 days in the week, and some of those days are double sessions, so running in the morning, then working, and then running at night. And as I mentioned, I also get in the gym once a week for a strength session, and then I'll get in the gym and do my own sort of recovery type stretching, yoga, a bit of plyometric work as well. So I try and follow a structured program, but then I also will pull back on sessions if I feel that my body just needs a rest.
That's good. So you're listening. You're listening to your body. That's so cool. Hey there, everybody. This episode is also brought to you by another awesome, forward-leaning, innovative golf venture called Rival and Revel. You know, we all look forward to that next round of golf, a trip with old friends, or a rare moment of pursuing our passions late in the evening, the sun's going down. You know, their goal is to make this valuable leisure time even more enjoyable, efficient, and relaxing, offering a variety of branded golf accessories, club head tech covers, and the one and only Silo Golf Club carrier. This product is a game changer in the golf industry, and it may just be a game changer for you too. If you don't know what the Silo is, press stop. Head over to their website, rivalandrevel.com, and check it out. Whether you are the super competitive player or the one that just celebrates being out there, Rival and Revel's mission is to help you make the most of it. Now, they've got a special discount just for our listeners. Use the code PACEOFCHANGE at checkout to receive 10% off your entire order. Okay, well, look, yeah, we could talk running all day. At some point, we got to talk about golf. But so, tell me your experience with golf. In other words, even if you didn't play it, when was the first time you were introduced to the game, whether it was on TV or whatever? I'm just interested to know kind of how you learned about golf and the sport as it is, and then moving into kind of your first speed golf experience.
Yeah, so my dad and my brothers used to play golf. So, you know, as a kid, I just kind of remember them going off to play golf. I was never invited. I think it was just the boys thing, you know, which was fine. I had any interest in it.
Yeah.
And then I probably when I was around 17 or 18, I was actually dating someone that lived very close to the golf course, and so we used to, on a Sunday evening, we used to jump the fence and go and have a hit of golf with my brother and him, and you know, that was probably my first experience where I actually hit a golf ball, and I was terrible. I used to just, you know, swing and miss continuously, so that was probably my only experience with golf. And then it wasn't until I met Virginia that I learned about speed golf, because prior to that, never heard of speed golf.
Okay, yeah, and then and so you had a chance at the 2015, I think it was last year, right? The British Speed Golf Championship. You were there for that?
Yeah, Virginia invited me to come across to the British Speed Golf Championship and pace her. And I was in Kenya training at the time, and I sort of spoke to my coach about it, and he said, "Oh, look, I think it's a great opportunity for you to, you know, go across, leave Kenya in camp and go across, you know, just for 5 days."
So you've never seen speed golf before. You're out there, pacing Virginia. I mean, take us into that. What kind of thoughts or what kind of, you know, comparisons were you making, or what kind of, you know, kind of experience were you having out there while you were doing that?
Yeah, sure. Well, to be honest, I was actually a bit nervous, which sounds funny, but because I had to run a golf course and run and, you know, spot the ball for her, I didn't actually understand how a golf course works. So I didn't really know where the tees were and where, you know, where the the layout, because I'd never been really on a golf course. And we spoke about it after the event, and I said, I really should have went for a little run beforehand to actually work out where all the tee offs are. But so I was a bit nervous about that. And the other thing I was nervous about was being able to find the ball. I was thinking, what if I can't find the ball and she's running towards me and I'm trying to look for the ball? So yeah, as a runner, I was not even worried about the running side of things, but I was more concerned that I was like, oh, if I delay the run just because I can't find the ball. But in terms of the event, itself, like being able to pace someone who, like Virginia's, has a hit and you see the ball just go flying down the fairway, and suddenly I wanted to just like grab the golf clubs off her and carry them for her, but I knew I wasn't allowed.
Yeah. Do you think you would ever try speed golf?
What are the chances of a non-golfer being able to, learn, especially I'm in my mid-30s, learn how to play golf and then, be relatively, good at it? I've never had an interest in golf until I actually went to the speed golf champs, and I came away that day, on a real high, like what you get with a runner's high. You come away from an event and you just get that buzz, and I thought, this is something I've never ever thought of playing, but I actually really think it would be fun.
Do you think that kind of sentiment would be shared by a certain portion of the running community, like a large portion of the running community?
Yeah, definitely. And, the event that Virginia is organising coming up soon to allow runners that have never played golf before to actually get out there and have a hit and not be sort of embarrassed about the fact that they can't play golf.
Yes.
I think it will open people's minds up to go, wow, there's other things besides running, and they still get to run.
What do you think would be most attractive to you in terms of if you were going to, hear a message about speed golf and hear an invitation to play speed golf, like as a runner, what would you want to hear that would make you feel comfortable to go, I'm going to give that a try?
Do you mean in terms of advertising?
Yeah, like what kind of messaging would be attractive to the running community to say, you know what, that is, because before you have that, I guess my point is that before you have that experience of being out there and seeing it and or playing it, you can imagine it in your head, but you miss out on that, like we've been saying, like that exhilaration, that excitement that you have when you're actually watching it or participating in it. So, are there any particular messages that you think would stick out or be poignant for the running community in terms of giving them incentive to try speed golf?
I think, I think you could look at it from the aspect of being able to run on a beautiful surface, for one, because runners, even if we're road runners or a trail runner, you're always looking for somewhere new to run, and a golf course is such an amazing surface to run on.
Yeah.
That, just the surface itself, but even, the serenity of a golf course is, beautiful.
Yes.
That would be one thing that would attract you. And then I think, every runner has a little competitive edge, whether they're a recreational runner or they're actually competing at a, elite level. And I think just throwing in another concept of the fact that you have to hit the ball, then you have to run I think that would draw people in as well, because it's just that new little challenge.
If people want to follow your progress, what do you have coming up in terms of, and I know we may have already skimmed over this, but what does the rest of this year look like for you in terms of your schedule and your goals and what you're hoping to accomplish?
So the World 100K Championship is being held later this year. It's either the last week in November or early December. We're still waiting for confirmation from the IAU, which is the International Ultra Running Association. So the World Championship is my main focus for this year. After running last year, I finished 8th in the world, and it was only my second 100K race. So my coach really wants me to go back and give it another shot this year.
For sure.
So, it's exciting times ahead. This marathon that I've just run on the weekend was really just a lead into, the campaign that the main focus is the World 100K Championship. But it's in Spain. The selections for the Australian team haven't been made yet, but I've got pretty much a guaranteed entry because a guaranteed selection on the team because I've currently got the Australian record. So that's always a nice thing.
Yeah, it is to be able to fall back on. Yeah, absolutely. So do you think it's possible that we might see you at the Speed Golf World Championships in October then?
We'll never say never. And the only reason I say that is, I still unfortunately have a full-time job, and getting the amount of time off work to go overseas a couple of times a year is quite tricky. But there's definitely a temptation to come across. Yes.
Well, Kirstin, I got to tell you that I'm just honored to be talking to you, and thank you so much for coming on the podcast, because you have an inspirational story. It's a story that I think other people need to hear. But I'm one of the things we hope to do is to broadcast the evolution of golf, but also it's to encourage those people who are listening that if they have a passion that they want to pursue, or if they have a concept or an idea that can help golf grow, to give them the confidence and courage and encouragement to go for it. And so I think stories like yours, where you have a full-time job and yet you still find the time in the 24-hour day, the same amount of time that we all have, but you have the time to train and focus on your passion and achieve success and really be in the history books. And that's really inspirational. And so I can't thank you enough for coming on the podcast, and we look forward to continuing to follow you. I would encourage all the listeners to follow you. How can they do that on social media or online? How can they continue to follow your journey?
I've got an athlete page on Facebook, so they can just follow me on Facebook. So it's Kirstin with an I, so Kirstin, Bull, Bull. And thank you for inviting me onto the show. It's been great to talk to you about running. Of course, I love talking about running.
Oh yeah.
But also, also to talk about speed golf and how we can get the running community to think about looking at a different sport, but still doing this the running aspect that they love as well.
Really exciting. Okay, well listen, until next time, we wish you all the best. We'll definitely be following along.
Thanks.
All
See you
right,
later.
Bye bye. All right, episode 20 in the books. Kirstin Bull. So thankful to have her on our podcast. Inspirational, motivational, but also definitely something to think about as a golfer. How can we attract non-golfers to the game? Let's create golf formats then that complement their lifestyle, their running lifestyle. Very, very, very interesting stuff. I hope you look into speed golf. Check out Speed Golf USA. You can go to their website, usaspeedgolf.com, to learn more about that. You can go to Speed Golf Australia to learn more about what they're doing down in Australia, working with Golf Australia. Kirstin and Virginia Deegan, the founder of Speed Golf Australia, are actually going to be hosting the inaugural Links Run Australia run called the Minion Mile. It's going to be on a golf course. Really excited about that. We'll keep you up to date as that develops. But hey, we hope you enjoy our weekly podcast here on The Pace of Change with the thought leaders, pioneers, and game changers in the golf industry. Thanks for listening today. You can support our efforts as well by following us on Facebook /Pace of Change and Twitter at Pace of Change Pod. Visit our website, paceofchange.com, and sign up for our newsletter. We'll keep you up to speed on the latest POC podcast news, announcements, and updates. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, and if you're listening on iTunes, you can really help us out by subscribing and leaving a review. Thanks for doing that. How else can we serve you, the listener? What other topics would you like to hear about? Who in the world of golf or running or any other world would you like us to interview? Leave your comments on social media and know that we value your feedback. All right, we look forward to the upcoming schedule of guests that will be on the podcast next week. We've got a great interview with Rob O'Laughlin, former owner of Soft Spikes, current owner of Laser Link Golf, and a few other amazing, innovative products. So I hope you tune in for that. For now, thanks for listening. Hey, pick up the pace. Until next time, we'll talk to you next week.